Okay, sir. Am I audible on the web? Over here? Right. Good evening, sir. అప్పుడే ఈవినింగ్ అయిపోయింది. రైట్, ఫైన్. Oh. Okay, so right. Fine, sir. In the morning session, we have started discussing about functions, and then we have understood that the functions are the basic unit of reusability. So whenever you are doing any activities multiple times, you should be able to write it as a function. Okay, right. So now functions continued, and as usual, let me try to give article about Python functions program as. Okay, right. So let us quickly go through this. Again, once you read programmers, if you want to get into Python, real Python is better. That is standardized with technical terms in it, and written by real professionals. Okay, program is convenient. W3 schools is convenient. Geek for Geeks is also somewhere in moderate kind of stuff. Okay, but the actual metal of Python is covered in real Python. Okay, right. Fine, sir. So this is something which we have looked in the morning session, right? Fine. We have spoken about arguments as well. Okay, we have spoken about even what do you call recursion. Okay, but this is an interesting area, which is Python variable scope. Okay, now over here I want to define the term which is called as modules in Python. Okay, module is a file in Python. Okay, let's say we create a file called as utils.py. So then utils is the module name. Okay, right, sir. Generally, whenever we are trying to write programs, there are two kinds of things which we do. Okay, one is we try to create functions where we want to have some reusable functions, and then there are places where we call them from. Okay, or execute the code. Okay, so Python functions, classes, and variables defined in the modules can be imported in other modules. Well, that is the basic idea, because you can't write all of your project in one .py file. You will be writing multiple Python files. Okay, so for example, if you consider YouTube as a project, మొత్తం YouTube ఒక Python file రాయరుగా. They will be writing different. They will be trying to create multiple files to basically have different types of logics. So that is a logical segregation. Okay, so now once you create a module, what you can do is you can once you define some functionality in a module, you can reuse it. Okay, so a Python file, okay, can be executed directly. Okay, that is something which we have been doing. Something like Python Euler 3 dot py. Okay, so then we will be executing the Python code. Okay, and the other way is using import statements. Okay, written somewhere, and then we are trying to do it. So let me basically get into cd c slash okay cd dot dot Python. Okay, make dir modules underscore demo cd modules underscore demo, and let me try to create a code. So whatever I'm trying to discuss right now for the next 5 minutes is extremely important. Okay, because you will see some strange statements in Python, and I'm trying to explain the meaning of it. Okay, so over here I am trying to create a file which is called as main.py. Okay, so this program will act as executable. Executable means you can call this file python main.py, and then I'm trying to create one more file which is called as utils.py. So right, this I will stop using files from now, this module, because every Python file is a module. So this module will contain reusable or helper functions. Am I clear on this, sir? So ఒక file లో functions ఉంటాయి, ఇంకో file దాన్ని కాల్ చేస్తుంది. So one file will contain functions, the other file will call it. Let us not try to make a complex function. Let us try to create simple functions. So add of x comma y. So this function will add two numbers. Okay, so let me write x, and let me try to write y, and then let me try to tell that this is of type int. This is because we know this function and how to write this function. I am trying to tell return a plus b. Simple. Yeah, sorry. Return x plus y. So if you try to see this utils.py, in utils.py, I have not written any code apart from functions. Okay. Now I want to use this add function over here. I want to use this add function over here. So both the files, are they in the same directory? రెండు ఫంక్షన్లు సేమ్ డైరెక్టరీలో ఉన్నాయా లేదా? Yeah, yes. So I can directly import utils. That means that I want to use something from this utils.py. Now what I'll try to do is I'll try to write print. Okay, in utils I have a function called as add, and to that add function I am passing 3 and 5. Any problem over here? Okay, or if you don't want to do it like this, let us try to create a variable called as result, and let me write utils dot add of 3 comma 5, and then let me try to tell that print of result. Any problem so far? Okay, ఇది ఎందుకు జరుగుతుంది? Okay, so ఇది ఎప్పుడు కాన్స్టెంట్ కాబట్టి దీని వేరియబుల్ మార్చమంటుంది, not an issue, and after that there should be one missing line. Okay, fine then. So are we clear on this? So rather than writing this, what I have done is దీనికి మళ్ళీ వేరియబుల్ ఎందుకు? Make sense? So in this is a file that gets executed, and this is a file that has a helper function. Okay. Now what I'll try to do is I'll try to go over here and then let me try to call Python main.py. Am I getting 8? Yes, because what has happened? This function has executed and then it is basically getting the code from utils.py. And now this is a strange file. This is where we are using C Python, right? PyC means compiled version of C. మీరు చూసినా open anyway. వద్దులేండి. Cat, what was it? Utils, right? Right. It has created an intermediary version, because if you remember, I said that Python is actually not an interpreter, but it does compilation. Okay. So since we are using Python, which is from C language, we are seeing this. That is not of importance. It will be generated. You need not do anything with respect to that. Okay. Sir, we clear on this, sir? Now, generally, in Python, whenever you see anything around double underscores, it has special purpose. Okay. So these are considered as dunder methods or members. Double underscore ne dunder and okay, right. Now what I'll do is in both the files, okay, or in this file, I'll try to do this. Okay. So let me go to utils.py and then let me try to write one code over here, which is print double underscore name. So is there anything with double underscores around it? So it means that it has a special purpose, which is defined by Python. And then let me also do the same thing in main.py. Okay. Am I clear on this, sir? నేను రెండు ఫైల్లో ఏం చేశాను? Double underscore. Yeah. So in both the files I have done that. Now let me try to call Python main.py. Let us see what has happened. So are you saying basically, since you have done import utils got called and it is printing utils. But when I print this, it is giving double underscore. Okay. So what it means is, the case of special variable, which is okay, right. Now this variable will have module name if imported. So if you try to see in utils.py, how was it called? It was called from import statement. So what was the value that got printed? It printed something called as utils. Okay. This variable will contain value double underscore main if the user executed this Python file. Okay, user కనుక ఈ ఫైల్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేస్తే ఈ వేరియబుల్ లో డబుల్ అండర్ స్కోర్ మెయిన్ అని ఉంటుంది. సో अगर यूजर ने इस फाइल को एग्जीक्यूट किया, डबल अंडरस्कोर मेन होगा. Let me try to show you this. Now let me execute Python utils.py. So what is that I am getting? Double underscore main. But if I import it, then I'll be getting utils. Okay, because in main is importing utils. So the same thing which was printing double underscore main is printing utils now. This double underscore main is coming from main.py. Let me remove that for some time. So let me try to go over here and then let us just try to look at the case of utils. Okay. So I'm directly calling main.py. I'm getting utils as a name. Now I'm trying to call directly python utils.py. The same variable has given a different value. Yes or no? Right? So that is the reason why whenever someone is writing Python programs, what they would try to do is, if someone is calling my code directly, if someone is calling my code directly by trying to tell python main.py, you might see them writing something like, if double underscore name is equals to double underscore main. That means that someone has called this code or this file by trying to tell python module.py. They will be writing this main function. So generally in languages like C, in languages like Java, we have public static void main. This is a way of Python's main function. So Python's main will be basically stored in here. You can directly write it, but generally you would see people following this. Are we clear on this? Python file కనుక మీరు కాల్ చేస్తే డైరెక్ట్ గా కాల్ చేస్తే python x.py. So then it will automatically store the value of double underscore main in this special variable called as name. Okay, but if you have imported, it will give the modules name. That is something which you have seen in utils.py. So in utils.py, when I was importing, it has printed utils. And when I'm basically calling it, it has printed double underscore main. So do we understand what this dunder main is and why people write this statement? So this is equivalent to your main block in C language, main function in C language. This is equivalent to public static void main in Java. So that is what people try to do. Are we clear on this? అర్థమైందా అవలేదా? Yeah. So whenever you see this block, that means that the developer has, whoever is calling the code, he has called Python and your file name.py. Okay, right. Generally, whenever we code which you want to execute, always write in this block. Always write in this block. Am I clear on this, sir? Yes. Okay. Get status. Get add, what was it? Main.py and utils.py. Get commit -m added. Executable and all right. So for the people who are from Linux, so generally when you want to execute this Python file in Linux, you would see one extra line on the top. That extra line is something which you call as shebang. There is no harm of doing this. User bin Python 3, you might see user bin Python 3, user env Python 3, whatever it is. This is basically in the Linux world. You can try to execute every first line of this program will try to tell what should I use to execute this program. Whenever we are trying to write shell scripts, you would be basically trying to tell bin/bash. That means that whatever I'm trying to go to write after that, execute it using bash. So user bin Python 3. This is basically you are trying to indirectly tell that you execute this file using Python 3, which is installed on your system. Okay, so this is just for reference. Refer here for shebang based version of Python. Okay, since most of you might end up writing scripts which are used on the Linux machines, you might add that on top of the stuff, or you might see that. So let me try to see shebang for Java. Okay, so here also you will be trying to, where is shebang? Come on. Okay, are you seeing this? కొంచెం ఎంతగా ఉన్నా రాసింది అదే ఫాంట్ వల్ల అనిపిస్తుంది. Right? So that first line will generally try to tell, that should be something on the first line of your code. Generally on Linux, whenever you're executing any program, you try to add this statement, which is called as shebang. When you do that, there is no need for you to try to tell python main.py. You can directly run main.py. Okay, right. But if you are calling it with python main.py, whether you write it or don't write it, it doesn't make any difference. Okay, right. So are we clear on this? Do we understand the concept of module? Yeah. So we need to make this modules a little bit more complicated, but for now, this much is more than enough, because generally what we will try to do is we will try to what is a module? Module is collection of functions or members which you try to create. Collection of modules is called as a package. Okay, after that, what we'll try to do is we'll try to create all the necessary collections, and then we can try to create Python package. That will be the next thing which you'll learn. But are we clear on the module concept now? Module is nothing fancy. It is just nothing but a Python file. Python file is technically called as a module. In module, you might have executable code, you might have reusable libraries, or you might have reusable classes. We have not defined what classes are yet. Okay, right. Python is not an interpreter, sir. Okay, Python is actually a compiler, but it does compilation when you do execution. So that is the reason why PyC files are getting generated. Yeah. Okay. Am I clear on this? Python is not an interpreter. It looks like an interpreter, but actually it is not. If it was an interpreter, we shouldn't be seeing this PyC file చూడకూడదు మనం. అసలు ఈ ఫోల్డరే కనబడకూడదు. Yeah. So what it has done is it has compiled your utils language into that. Okay. Right. Fine then. So let us go back to our stuff. Functions. Okay. As part of functions, I've basically started speaking this. Okay. Now there are some interesting functions. The first function which I want to try to speak about is generators in Python. So what is it? Generators in Python. Okay. Now let me try to write some utility functions. ఈ యాడ్లు ఇవన్నీ జరాగ్గా ఉన్నాయి కానీ ఓకే ఉండి ఒకటి. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to give a function which will basically print me even numbers in the range of min to max. So you give me what is your min and what is your max. I'll give you all the even numbers. Okay. So this function returns even numbers between min and max. So over here, what I'm trying to do is min, I will try to put it as 1, and max, I'll try to put it as 10. So what it means is if the users don't pass the value of min will be 1 by default, and the value of max will be 10 by default. Okay, right. Now over here, this is simple, right? For number in range of min comma max plus 1. We are doing plus 1 because it skips that value. Okay. If number percentage 2 is equals to 0. Now here, will I have one value or multiple values? So when I have multiple values, what is it I'll try to do? I'll try to create something like result is equals to empty list. And then I'll be trying to tell that results dot append, and I'm adding number to it. So, antena? And then finally I'll be returning result. Now what is that I've done? Because if there is only one value, I would have written it directly. But I will have between 1 to 10, I might have 10 values. Or between x and y, I might have 100 values. So how can I store variable number of items? So for that, the only data structure which we have is list. So I've added items to the list. Any problem here? Yeah, right. So what is it problem? Okay, min ki already meaning on that. Okay, when min ki meaning unte start end అని పెడదాం. ఈ దరిద్రాలే ఆపుకోవాలి నేను కూడా. Okay, right click on this. Whenever you want to change variables, don't change it like this. Right click, rename, and rename this min to start, so that it will be changing everywhere. Yeah, and the documentation, it will not be able to change it. That is something which you still need to do. Right click, rename symbol, and then let me try to call it as end. Okay. Now start value and value. Are you clear on this, sir? Yeah. Right. Okay. Fine then. ఇక్కడ చేద్దామా Jupyter notebooks లో చేద్దాం లేదు we'll do it here only. Fine. So now what I'll try to do is print, okay, or for number in utils dot even numbers of, okay. Let me try to tell start is equals to input of enter the start number. Let me ask the user, okay, but this will be a string, so I need to convert that into integer. Now let me try to do the same thing for and, so enter the and number, and generally whenever you are giving inputs give some colon and space so that you will understand, otherwise it will be printing, you will be typing whatever it is immediately. Now utils dot even numbers of start comma and, but I could have called the same function by utils dot even numbers of. There is no need for me to pass any values because I've given default values. In this case it will try to take min start equals to 1 and end equals to, right? So I can only try to tell that start equals to 2, but I have not put end. That means that end will be 5, end will be 10, whatever is the default value. Okay, that is the advantage of using default values. Okay, now, right, and then print of number. Any problem with this code, sir? ఈ కోడ్ వల్ల ఏమన్నా ఇబ్బంది ఉందా? So what is it I have done? I have created a even numbers function, okay, and then I am basically calling it over here, okay. దీనికి Jupyter notebooks ఏ correct ఏమో. 1 minute, sir. Let me try to copy paste the same program in Jupyter notebooks. What was it? Notebooks, and let me try to open Visual Studio Code. So let me try to create a new one, which is functions2 dot ipy nb. Okay, okay, understanding generators, okay, right. Let me try to write a same program. I'm not going to change anything. నేను ఇదే కాల్ చేస్తాను. Let us not get into the module confusion over here, or we need not worry about that. Okay, so I've written a function which looks like this. So are we clear on this, sir? So I have a function. Now when I want to call this function, what I'll be trying to do is I'll be trying to tell, okay, let me try to directly call over here for number in even numbers, because I'm using this in the same function, same class, same file, okay, and I don't give any values. So this means that min equals to 1, or sorry, start equals to 1 and end equals to 10, and let me tell print of number. Is it working? Nothing fancy, right? Yeah, right. So now let me try to write something called as generator, okay, all right. So I'm trying to write a generator function. Define even numbers underscore. Just for our understanding, I'm using a term called as generator. There is no need for you to call it as generator. Okay, here also I'll be trying to tell min equals to 1, sorry, start equals to 1 and end equals to 10. Okay, and I'm not trying to write the doc string. Okay, ideally I should be doing that for number in range of start comma end plus 1 Okay, if number percentage 2 is equals to 0, then what I'll be trying to do is, okay, ideally what is that we'll try to do? We need to add that number to the list. But I'll try to use this statement which is called as yield and number. Enti? Okay, now let me try to run this. My function is done. Okay, now let us try to see how this function behaves. Okay, for debugging I'm writing in the same cell. So I'll be trying to tell that for number in even numbers generator of, let me not pass any values. Okay, and then let me try to pass print of number. Same result వచ్చిందా? ఇది రాత్రం ఎందుకు? ఇది అసలు ఒకటి ఎలా అయినాయి? Okay, let us try to see what happens. Okay, so first shall I basically debug this function doesn't require debugging, right? It is straightforward. Okay, this function requires debugging. Let me put a breakpoint over here, and let me put a breakpoint over here, and let me try to debug the cell. For number in even numbers generator, so I want to step into, yeah, so it comes over here. Let us try to see what is the start value here. 1. What is the end value? 10. What is the number value? 1. So it tries to check that if number percentage 2 equal to 0, no. And then 2 percentage 2 is equal to 0, true. Then what has happened? Yield number angane malli ikkadiki vachedi. So it comes to the caller, it prints the number. Okay, are you seeing it has print the number? And then if you try to see, it continues from 2. So now what happens? 3. Now 4. Now 4 will be returned back to the function, and it will print that value 4. Okay, now 5, 6, it prints the value. Okay, 7, 8. Okay, now 9, 10, number is yielded. Now it comes out of the loop. So it returns the values, it switches between statements. Okay, so whenever you want to generate a sequence, so for example, give me the list of all the prime numbers between 10 to 100. Okay, or give me all the files in your Linux system which have file size greater than certain thing. So in all of that stuff, we will try to loop through the things. And whenever someone is waiting for your loop, what you need to do is you need not wait and maintain the whole list. And at the end, you return the value. So here what is happening? It is switching between both the functions. Okay, but this is something which is called as generator. And personally, whenever I want to generate anything which is sequence, so give me all the files which are greater than 10 GB in my system, if I'm trying to write a code for that. So what I'll do is I'll try to look into all the drives. The moment I find a file number, I'll yield it. The moment I find the file number, I'll yield it. So the idea of yielding is you will be switching between the person who is calling, and then the loop continues. It will individually send the values rather than you maintaining a list. Normally, I need to maintain the list, add all the items to the list, and then finally return it. This is Pythonic way where it basically sends one item to the callee, and both the functions will be executed. ఇక్కడ మీరు చూస్తే దీనికి మధ్యలో స్విచ్ అవుతుంది. ఇక్కడ అయితే మొత్తం అంతా లిస్ట్ అయ్యేంత వరకు అసలు స్విచ్ అవ్వదు. So it will try to build the whole list, and it will start printing the values. Make sense, sir? Yes. So these are something which we call as generators in Python. These are something which we call as generators in Python. Generators will have the statement called as yield. Return ఉండదు, yield ఉంటుంది. Okay, yield means this function will be generally called as part of loops. Okay, now let me try to show you something. Okay, generally in Python, for everything you will find the type. Let me try to look into what is it? Generator underscore test is equals to, what was our function? Even number underscore generators of 1 to 5 on 6 on, yeah, and then type of generator underscore text. Are you saying we are getting generator? The type is generator. This type works when someone is calling it. Okay. So whenever you are trying to write inside the loops, okay, whenever you want to iterate anything, then we will be using generators. Okay. So whenever you are creating more than one value, rather than creating a list and then sending all the items, you can use yield statements. Okay. Right. So many people don't use it. People generally who come from C background, they don't prefer it. But people who have started working in Python or who have little bit of idea of function pointers prefer this. Okay, ఇది మీకు రాకపోయినా నష్టం లేదు, బట్ జనరేటర్ అన్న పదం గుర్తెట్టుకోండి. So there are two things which you need to remember: generator, decorator. Okay, this is what this generator. We will be learning about decorators also. Yeah, fine, sir. Are we clear on this? Yeah, good. Now ఇందులో తీసేస్తున్నాను, ఇది ఇక్కడ వద్దులేండి. ఓకే, ఫైన్. సో let me go over here. They have not given this Python generators. Okay, generator is nothing fancy. దాంట్లో ఏముంటుందంటే yield ఉంటుంది. So if you try to see is yielding the value means the value gets returned. You need not create a list or a dictionary or a set to maintain those values. Okay, fine. I'm just giving you more refer here for samples on. Yeah, it is definitely faster, right? It is definitely faster, less memory consumption, because you are not storing a whole list of big items. Okay, so right now మనకు ఉన్న 5 వాల్యూలే కాబట్టి పెద్ద మెమరీ డిఫరెన్స్ ఏమి ఉండదు. But let us assume that you are trying to iterate through a whole 1 terabyte stuff, and then you are reading the file and then sending it. So in that cases, you need to store all of that in your memory. Now there is no need. It basically reads one value, assigns that to the function. This works on memory optimization. Yeah, fast wise పెద్ద difference రాకపోవచ్చు, because you have to eventually execute all the code, but in terms of memory optimization it works out. Okay, fine. Yeah, right, good. So do we understand this now? Yeah. So Python main function, ఇప్పుడు Python main function తెలుసా మనకి? యా, మాట్లాడుకోలేదు కదా మనం దీని గురించి. Okay, did I speak about double underscore name? Yeah, right, thank you. బతికిచ్చారు. ఇప్పుడే మెంతగా చూస్తాం మొదలెట్టారు ఆల్రెడీ, అందుకనే అంటున్నాను. ఓకే, సో జస్ట్ హ్యావ్ ఎ కంటెక్స్ట్ స్విచ్. Let us basically try to do one activity, and I want you to do that activity. Okay, so ఏదన్నా ఒక యాక్టివిటీ ఎందుకు? Yeah, I know that you guys have done simple calculator and compounding power compound interest calculator, right? Okay, so I want you to write, okay, create, open your system, sir. చూస్తే తెమల్ the code. Okay, let me tell you one story about one of the fake. I can't name the faculty because I don't know. These days my videos are reaching places which I can't even imagine. There used to be a faculty, and you all know Ramna, right? Ramna is the owner of Quality That. Me Quality That చూడంగానే first Satyaraj photo తర్వాత Ramna photo అంతే, right? So for the people who don't know Ramna, I think if you go to లెర్నింగ్ థాట్స్ కూడా ఉంటాయి, నాకు తెలిసి రమణ వీడియోలు ఉంటాయి. అదిగోండి. సో ఐ సింగ్ దిస్. సో he is the one who has started Quality Thought. Okay, him and me have studied in the same college. Okay, so he was computer science, I was computer science and information technology. Okay, so the only Ramna can't code, I can code. Okay, do you know why? the faculty who has Ramna probably would have got more marks than me on C and data structures. Okay, the faculty who has taught them, he used to write all the programs on the boards, and these guys used to write in the notebook any program neat ga C and data structures పుస్తకాలను చూస్తే ముద్దొస్తుంది. Okay, but the faculty who has taught us, what he used to do was he used to explain the concept and ask us to try the program. Many people never tried, వాళ్ళు అలాగే ఉన్నారు. But for anyone who has tried, they are in a very decent position. To my knowledge, all of them are architects now. In Ramna's class, there is only one person who is doing coding now. మొత్తం సిఎస్సి డిపార్ట్మెంట్ లో 60 మందిలో వాడు కోడ్ చేస్తాను, మిగతా అందరూ అయితే టెస్టర్లో, స్క్రమ్ మాస్టర్లో. ఓకే, రైట్. అంటే యు ఆర్ ఇన్ ద కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ఫీల్డ్, యూ షుడ్ అయితే ముఠా మేస్త్రి అవ్వాలి, వాళ్ళు ఇంకా రైతు కూలీలుగానే ఉన్నారు. ఓకే, అంటే నేను మిగతా ఏరియాస్ నేను కించపరచట్లేదు. కోడింగ్ ఈజ్ ఆల్వేస్ సుపీరియర్ ఇన్ ద వరల్డ్ ఆఫ్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్. సేమ్ కాలేజ్, సేమ్ ప్లేస్, ద ఓన్లీ డిఫరెన్స్ వాస్ ద అదర్ ఫ్యాకల్టీ యూస్ టు రైట్. బొమ్మరిల్ సినిమా లాగా ఉండేది, మొత్తం ఆయన రాసి ఇచ్చేవాడు. వీళ్ళకి పిచ్చ అంత పెరిగిందంటే, రైట్. సో హీ యూస్ టు రైట్ ద క్లాస్ రూమ్ నోట్స్. ఓకే, వాళ్ళల్లో చాలా మంది అమీర్పేట వచ్చి ఉద్యోగాలు ట్రై చేసుకుంటా కూడా ఆ నోట్స్ చదివేవాళ్ళు. ఓకే, ఎందుకంటే ఆయన చెప్తే వచ్చేస్తాయని. ఏంటో వద్దులేండి, రైట్. That day itself I have said these people, if you follow him, you are never going to code, because coding is like mathematics. When you make a note of the problem solved by your faculty, at a max you can get marks. But if you want that to solve problems, you have to try, and when you try, you always fail. But as you debug, it generates interest. I'm not sure how many of you have genuinely tried debugging, but if you start debugging, this is very interesting stuff. And to be very honest, this is much easier than what you're learning in DevOps. When you try to speak about Kubernetes, when you try to speak about all the complex systems which you are working on, okay, writing coding is much simple. Okay, ఇప్పుడు కాలేజ్ పేర్లు అయ్యి ఎందుకు లేండి సార్? యా, ఇప్పటికే ఇప్పుడు ఆయన స్టూడెంట్లు కూడా చాలా మంది ఈ క్లాస్లో ఉండొచ్చు. ఓకే, రైట్. సో ద పాయింట్ ఇస్, you will learn programming not by looking. If you try to look and make a note of programs, okay, so you should probably search for other skills. And I'm not trying to tell that Ramna has not done a good job. He is good in terms of test management, but I cannot do test. I can't think testing. Okay, right. So especially black box testing. Black box testing means I give you a software, I don't show you any code, and I want you to test it. So for example, I've given a Facebook application, I ask you to test it. So you have to test every functionality is working. I can't do that. Yeah, I can do white box. White box is I look at the code and I find defects. That is something which we call as unit testing. Yeah, so testing kuda oka skill adi naaku ledu. Yeah, but the point is, in the IT industry, whatever skill which I possess is highly rewarded. Meeku jeetalu kavalanna, hikelu kavalanna, right, this is what would help. There you should be very good at people management. Ante మేనేజర్లతో మందాడానికి వెళ్తాం, రైట్. సో ఆయనకి నచ్చినట్టు మీరు ప్రవర్తిస్తాం. నేనున్న ప్రాంతంలో ఉంటే మీకు యాటిట్యూడ్ ఉన్న వర్కౌట్ అవుతుంది. ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ గుడ్ విత్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్, ఈవెన్ ఇఫ్ యువర్ యాటిట్యూడ్ ఎవ్రీవన్ విల్ అప్రిషియేట్. నౌ యూ డిసైడ్, బానిసగా బతకాలనుకుంటున్నారా, స్వేచ్ఛగా బతకాలనుకుంటున్నారా, మీకు ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ వచ్చా రాదా అన్న దాని మీద ఉంటుంది. సో వెదర్ యూ వాంట్ టు హ్యావ్ లివ్ లైక్ what do you call slave or servant to your bosses, or live with attitude, is your stuff. People who can code are considered as assets. No matter whatever recession which comes, if the person who can fix issues, no company removes him, but rather they give hike to him every year because they don't want that person to go to the other company. Yeah, so మీరు ఆలోచించుకోండి దీని ప్రకారం. ఇప్పుడు ఏంటి చేస్తారా, నన్ను చేసేయమంటారా? రైట్. So now you tell me, do you want me to do it or will you try it? Thank you. మీరు చేయమన్నా నేను చేసేవాడిని కాదు. రైట్. యా, ఫైన్ సార్. సో create 2 functions. Okay, a function to return simple interest. Okay, or total amount after simple interest, and principal plus interest. Yeah, and a function to return compound interest. Yeah, so I want you to write two functions. Okay, and then call these functions. Try to write one Python file, or you can write Jupyter notebooks also. I'm okay with anything. So call this functions, okay, with different values. Okay, so 10,000 ₹2 వడ్డీకి రెండేళ్ళు పాటిస్తే నాకు ఎంత వస్తుంది? ఓకే, 10 ఏళ్ళు ₹10 వడ్డీకి రెండేళ్ళు పాటింది ఎంత వస్తుంది? సో ఇఫ్ యూ ట్రై టు చేంజ్ ద ఇంట్రెస్ట్ రేట్స్ విత్ ద సేమ్ ప్రిన్సిపల్, so that you will come to know what will be the difference in terms of amounts. Are you clear on this? Shall we try this? Yeah, go ahead, sir. So I'm not asking you to do anything new. This is something which I've given you long back, but the only difference is now I want that in the form of function. Yeah, right. Okay. Right. What was the first function? Define simple interest of, okay, PTR by 100. Okay, but we need to also add principal to it. I said that I don't want interest, I want a total amount. So yes, intega. Okay, I am using generator, sir, because ఇవన్నీ మీకు వచ్చానే అనుకుంటున్నా. Compound interest. Okay, fine then. So I have not implemented the number of times the interest is calculated. Okay, so let me try to write ఫస్ట్ ఇది చేద్దాంలేండి. NT అవుతుంది అంతే. Let me go to main.py and then let me try to remember. Okay, fine then. So what I'll do is I'll try to write one more function, main, and from here I'll try to call main function, and in this main function I'll be trying to ask you, okay, I'll continuously ask while true, okay, or choice equals to y. So while choice is equivalent to y, you will be continuing in this loop. Okay, now here what I'll try to do basically ask is first let me ask principal, rate of interest, and time. Enter time period. I need to give in years. Okay, now okay, so this is compound interest, simple interest, okay, and then that's it, done. Now program అయితే అయిపోయింది. ఓకే, రైట్. ఈ జనరేటర్ అది బాగానే ఉంది, దీన్ని వాడేసుకుందాం అని మీకు అనిపించవచ్చు, బట్ డోంట్ డూ దట్. Okay, I have done this because the only thing which I am doing right now is I am continuously executing the code till the user says that I don't want this program anymore. Okay, let me try to show you what I have done. cd // instruction programs cd modules demo, and then python main.py. Enter the principal amount. So 10,000, 1 lakh. Okay, I'm entering 1 lakh. Rate of interest. Let us try to calculate bank interest 9%. Okay, so 9 కూడా రాదనుకుంటా bank లో. 6% is what we get out of FD. Okay, fine, we'll try to do FD calculation later. Okay, now time period in years, 5 years. So if I go for compound interest, it becomes 1 lakh 50,000. If I go for simple interest, it goes for this. And then it is asking, do you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. Now this time 10,000, 1 lakh, and interest 6%. This is your FD. Okay, and number of years 5. So what is that you get? Yeah, do you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. Again, the principal amount is 1 lakh. What is the rate of interest? 12%. This is something which you average on an average get when you invest almost in any index fund. Nifty 50 అని ఉంటుంది కదా స్టాక్ మార్కెట్ లో. If you try to invest every month, SIP calculator I have not done it, but this is a lump sum investment. But if I try to tell that I have done this for 15 years, okay, Now my 1 lakh after 15 years will become 5 lakhs. If it is simple interest, are you seeing the difference? Yeah. Right. Do you want to continue? No, I don't want to continue. The program will stop. I can continuously do that. If you try to see here, what I've used is I've used the while condition. So while will continue as long as the condition is true. I've started with an assumption choice equal to y, and then I've basically called my functions. And don't worry about this. This is printing values. Anyway, that is the next topic which you are going to learn with respect to strings. So I have conveniently used that. Okay. So that's the reason we are getting this output in a decent form. Okay. Right. Good. Fine, sir. Right. And after this, I should not be seeing any blue lines. Do I see any blue lines here? No. In utils? No. That means my code is clean. Are you clear on this now? Okay. మీ ఫంక్షన్ ఇలాగే ఉండాలి, ఇలా రాస్తేనే కరెక్ట్ అని ఏం కాదండి. ఇప్పుడు ఇది కూడా నేను రాసింది కాదు. This is one of the LLM model which has predicted my code. Just like how it generates the text in chat GPT when you ask questions. This LLM model is generating code. Okay. Right. There are 3 popular vendors for that. One comes from Amazon, one comes from Microsoft, which is GitHub Copilot, one comes from Google. These 3 are good at generating codes, and these 3 you can install anywhere. Okay. Right. But don't install it while learning. Do that while working, if your company allows. There is one prediction which says that lot of companies are going to use the generated code. But the point is, after this code is generated, I should be able to fix it. So for example, over here, when I wanted simple interest, it has given me PTR by 100. But what I wanted the amount plus interest. So ఇది యాడ్ చేసి తెలియదు అట్లా ఉండాలి మనకి. Okay. Right. And this is one of the reason why majority of the companies are not recruiting freshers, because freshers don't have this knowledge. So let me try to show this. GitHub Copilot pricing. Okay. So what is the cost, sir? $4. $4 ఎంత 480 300 పోనీ 4 కూడా తీసేయండి, తీసుకుంది అసలు అద్భుతమైన వర్షన్ తీసుకుంది. సో this is $21. $21 will cost me roughly around 1600 Indian rupees. Yeah, I buy this license, I give it to one of the experienced developer, and he does 3 people's job. Okay, that is the reason why there are very less number of openings. సో మన వాళ్ళు ఏమో ప్రైమ్ నెంబర్ రాయమంటే మాకు చెప్పలేదంటారు. వాళ్ళ కంపెనీ వాళ్ళు ఈ పడలేక తీసుకోవట్లా. So they are basically trying to buy something like this. Okay, so this is something which you can which many companies are basically doing. This is the whole Copilot pricing. Okay. Right. I was saying $10 per month, $100 per year. ఒక యూజర్కి $100 పెట్టి నేను ఒకటి ఇస్తే ఒక లైసెన్స్ కొనుక్కుంటే ఆడు బంగారం లాగా 3 మనుషులు పనిచేయచ్చు. And this GitHub Copilot not only generates Python code, Java code, it generates Terraform templates, it generates Kubernetes manifest. వాళ్ళకే ఇబ్బంది అనుకుంటున్నారేమో, మీకు కూడా ఉంది. Right? It literally generates everything. Okay. So when you are learning it, you have to be very skillful. Okay. మిడిమిడి జ్ఞానం తెమల్లో. Are you clear on this, sir? My intention why I try to open that in the classes is just to inculcate fear in you, because moderate skills don't sell anymore. Okay. Right. Fine, sir. Sorry, saying it, did it made my life simple or not? So for whatever you might have taken a lot of time, I have used some generator, and it is able to basically give me quickly generated code which is working decently. Okay. Good. So let me try to commit this one. Git status. Don't worry about these git commands, sir. You will be learning them very soon. But I am trying to use that added what interest calculations. పైకి ఆశ వెళ్ళకూడదు. ఓకే, సావనమండి, ఇంకేం చేద్దాం. Fine. Ignore PyCache, sir. Okay. I shouldn't have committed that, but if you try to look into the other code is important. Whatever code which I have written over here. Okay. Fine, sir. Refer here for. Okay. Now, but start చేసి గంట కూడా అవ్వలేదు, ఇంకో 10 నిమిషాలు పని చేద్దాం, ఆ తర్వాత బ్రేక్ తీసుకుందాం. Alright. So let us basically work on string methods. Generally, whenever we are working on text, we need some kind of methods. So something like whether it is equals, not equals, because in number equals is simple. 10 is equal to 10. There is no uppercase and lowercase. But in the world of text, we have upper and lower codes. Okay. So how do you deal with the string? So here what you need to understand is, you need to understand something which is called as text encoding. What is it, sir? Text encoding. I'm quite sure that everyone might have learned something called as ASCII codes in your schooling or colleges, where we try to tell that capital small a is equals to 97 or capital A is equals to something in 65 or something like that. Okay. So earlier text was ASCII codes. The problem with ASCII code is it can have 256 characters and all of them are only English. Yes, me keyboard మీద కనబడే character. That means that it can store only English text and few symbols. But if you try to see, in real world we have too many languages. In real world we have too many languages. So for that reason, generally what we would have is, we would have something called as, okay, text encoding is something which is different. We will have something called as ASCII and Unicode. Unicode is universal code. So in that, what I can do is, I can have a text which can take Telugu as an input, because Unicode supports literally all of the languages. Okay. So now let me go to Perplexity and then ask, what is ASCII and Unicode? Okay. So ASCII supports how many? 128 characters. It is more comprehensive. It has how many? 1,49,000 characters. So in this, what you can do is, you can basically use any language as an input whenever you are dealing with text. And this ASCII Unicode comes with the encoding of UTF-8 and UTF-16. So generally, whenever you are reading or writing text, you will also need to pass this encoding. So encoding, with encoding, what we basically get is, we basically get what is the stuff which you are trying to do, and generally we will be using UTF-8 or UTF-16, whatever it is. Okay. Generally, since we take English inputs, it doesn't matter. But some, for example, me karmakali Dutch bank lo join ayyar, you work for a German organization, there the inputs also will be in German, right? So in those cases, your text also needs to start accepting other languages as an input, and you need to compare those stuffs, and for that the encoding will be different. But that by default, okay, I can try to create a Python string where x is equals to hello. Now let me try to write hello in Spanish. And in the right, y equals to right, and then let me try to change it to something Hindi. Namaste. Let us try to see if our Python string is capable of taking that or not. Oh, మనకున్న పై ఈ మార్చుకోవచ్చు, right? Okay. Now let me try to print off. See, this is what encoding does. Okay. When we learned programming, it was all about ASCII characters. That means you can give English and all that stuff. Now, since it is Unicode, you can literally use anything. Right. A. Oh, namaskaram మొత్తం కొట్టేసినట్టుంది command line లో. Fine, whatever it is. But you understood the intention, right? What is that encoding? ఎస్, ఈ కొంచెం అక్షరాలు బాగా దగ్గరగా ఉన్నట్టున్నాయి మా జిల్లా వాసుల్లాగా. రైట్, ఫైన్, వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇట్ ఇస్. డూ యూ అండర్స్టాండ్ దిస్ నౌ? యా. సో to handle this, we have text encoding, okay, which is UTF-8 and UTF-16. So as and when you increase more, UTF-32 will have more support. Let us try to ask what is the difference between UTF-8 and what is difference between UTF-8 and UTF-16. Okay, right. So UTF is a 8-bit code unit. Now UTF supports the characters in these ranges. UTF supports the entire stuff. But UTF-8 takes less memory. UTF takes what you call UTF-8 is good for ASCII based text. When you know that you are dealing mostly with text, use UTF-8. When you have multilingual imports, so for example your input can be anything, then the encoding is something which you'll be using is UTF-16. So for example, we will be reading about something like JSON files or YAML files, and we know that our JSON file and YAML files will be completely in English. If this is the stuff, then I'll be using UTF-8. But if the files which I am reading from code, there are chances that there might be other languages input, then my encoding will be UTF-16. Right? So by default, you can pass any language into the Python strings. Not only Python strings, every language supports that right now. Are we clear on this, sir? Yeah. So I'm not trying to put this in the notes. You basically debug it. So typically, what does it mean? Whenever I'm basically taking inputs which are seriously around ASCII characters, that is English characters, only English as an input. Okay, then I'll be using these encodings. Okay, right. So in Python, actually we have there is one more data type which is called as bytes, which no one uses. Okay, but there is something called as string also. Okay, generally we try to look into strings. Okay, now you can also find out what is the difference between bytes and strings. Okay, so bytes is in a low level format, text is little bit in the higher order format, but you can always convert from bytes to strings. Byte is nothing but a low level representation of your characters. Okay, right, fine. Then now let me try to basically go with Python strings. Okay, right. Prefer here for Python strings. So in Python strings, straight away, the assigning the values, there is nothing fancy. Take a variable and assign any value to it. Okay, you can use single quotes or double quotes or triple quotes. If you remember, triple quotes is something which we will be using when we have multi lines as a text. Okay, now whenever you want to access any character, it is a sequence. Every text is a sequence. So what you can do is off 0, off 1. You can do slicing. If we have also already spoken about how to calculate reverse of a string. So for example, okay, what is it we have said? If x is equals to, I've just put m as a capital letter just to have some distinction. So if I try to tell x of colon minus 1, I'll be still getting madam, but this time if you try to see, capital has went at the last. This is the easier way to reverse it out. We can slice. So we can also do this. A in x. Remember membership, which you have spoken about, right? Because this is also a sequence. It supports memberships. And then let me try to tell x not in x. Yeah, we don't have a letter called as x in capital X in madam, and it is trying to tell yes, it is true. Okay, you can do these kind of things anyway. So you can do slicing. Okay, so Python strings are immutable. Immutable means what? String cannot be changed. Can bangarla pani. Okay, x is equals to, okay, let me try to do this. X of 0 is equals to, let me try to replace with small m. మరి ఎలాగ దీన్ని సాల్వ్ చేస్తాం? They are immutable in nature. But what generally what people do is they try to apply. Madam, here they are not working on the same memory location. They are working on a altogether a different memory location. Okay, they pass a different value to the variable completely. Okay, but individually you can't change the values. That is what it is trying to tell. Actually, it is immutable, just like how float is, how a tuple is, how a frozen set is. Okay, but for example, if I try to write y is equals to tuple of 1 comma 2 comma 3, y of 0 equals to 4, this will not be allowed. But if I try to write y is equals to 4 comma 2 comma 3, because you are trying to create a new value and pass. Yeah, did you understood, sir? Y లోకి మళ్ళీ వాల్యూ పంపించాం కదా, అది ఇమ్యూటబుల్ కాదు కదా అని మీరు అనుకుంటే, ఇమ్యూటబుల్ is changing in the current memory location, not changing by assigning altogether a new stuff. Okay, now multi-line string, this is fine. So how do you compare two strings? Equals to. Okay, double equals to, if you try to write, it will try to tell. But the problem over here, what we will have is, we will basically have case wise similarities. Okay, for example, if I try to tell that x is equals to high and capital X is equals to high. Now if I try to write is x equal to capital X, it will write tell false because the case is different. Okay, then how can I do case? How can I ignore case? So what Python, what are the methods that are available? That is what we are researching out for. Okay, but before we try to get into this, I just want to speak about one topic initially, which is called as string interpolation. Okay, what is it? String interpolation. There is nothing fancy. How many of you know this statement? In the C language, have you ever written this? Printf, hello, percentage s, comma, you might have a variable called as name. So then it prints hello and whatever value was present inside the name. So inside one string, you are replacing certain values with other things. This is something which people do. So for example, the options which we have is, let me try to go over here. Okay, let me try to add string stuff also over here. Yeah, change cell to markdown, string functions. Okay, right, sir. So let me try to write code. I have something called as name is equals to Python. And now what I want to print is, I want to print something like welcome to Python. I want to print welcome to Python. So what is it I'll try to do? I'll try to tell print welcome to, and then I'll try to write plus, and then I'll try to write name. Yes. So here what is it I've done? I have done something called as concatenation. This is plus in string means combining two strings. Okay. So this is a classic example of concatenation. Okay. 1 minute, sir. కొంతసేపు ఈ సజెషన్లు ఆపేద్దాం. Okay. Are you clear on this? Yeah. So now whenever I want to print something inside something, then I can use this concatenation. Okay. But for doing interpolation, yeah, all right. Oh, interpolation ante adi numerical interpolation ki వెళ్ళాలి. String interpolation in Python. Okay, refer here. Okay, I'll be trying to do the examples over here. The first stuff which is most widely used these days is something which is called as f strings. So in f strings, what you try to do is, okay, this is concatenation method, right? Now let us assume that I want to do the same thing. Now what I'll try to do is, welcome to, and I'll put double curly braces, and inside that I'll try to write a variable name, which is called as, what is the variable name? Name. పోనీ ఇక్కడ మళ్ళీ రాద్దాం. Name equals to Python, and before that or I'll try to do is I'll try to put a word which is called as f, and now I can use that in print statement or wherever you want. This is more organized. So for example, now let us try to look at this statement which was basically created. Compound interest is, he is calculating utils.compound interest and he is passing all of this. So whatever is the result of it will be stored over here. That is the reason when we basically tried. Okay, if you try to look into it, you got compound interest and then we got the value of it, right? So how did we got the value? Okay, let me try to basically quickly do that. Let us assume that value is equals to something like 1 lakh. Okay, now I am trying to write, okay, amount colon are you getting it, sir? Now if I try to put it in print statement, it will print the value. That is an advantage of f string. And now what I can do is, for example, I put x is equals to 5, y is equals to 6, result is equals to x plus y. Now I can try to write x plus y has given me result. And whenever it is trying to run this, what it will happen, whatever is in curly braces will be replaced by if there is any variable with that name. So do we have a variable called as x? So what is present inside that? 5. So this curly braces x will be replaced with 5. And then you have plus is fine, curly braces y. So what is the value of y here? 6. So then it will be printing 5 plus 6 equals to, what is the value which will have in result? 5 plus 6, which is 11. So to basically print the string messages, this is more comfortable. Okay, so this is something which we call as f strings, and you would see me maximum using this. Okay, right. Now if you scroll down, we also have the C style. If you remember, in C language we used to write percentage yes, hello percentage yes, where s represents a string, percentage d represents an integer. దరిద్రం కావాలంటే ఇది వాడండి, నేను అసలు ఇది వాడను. Somehow I don't want to use this, but if you want you can look into this. Okay, and the other one is which you can use is, there is something called as string dot format. How many of you know Terraform? If you remember, in Terraform we have a function called as format function, where we used to write http://url. Where is that inspired from? This. So over here what you will try to do is, okay, right, are you seeing he's writing format and then he is basically trying to do all of this circus. These are all older ways. So here what I'll do is, I'll try to write same pan cheyalankondi. So I'll be trying to write something like str string value royal. Okay, so let me try to tell display underscore message, or let me try to write something like x. Okay, this is a string, right? So inside the string there is a method called as format. Now to this format you need to pass values x, y and result. Okay, but I would not recommend any of this. I would recommend only f strings, because f strings is the latest one. Okay, but then some of the people didn't like this idea, so they suggested that, okay, rather than using empty curly braces, start giving names. Then they said, why do you want to use all of this nonsense? Use F strings. That's the reason why it is suggesting F strings at the top. Okay. Now, ఇవి సరిపోవని కూడా టెంప్లెట్ స్ట్రింగ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. టెంప్లెట్లు అవసరం లేదండి మనకి, అంత దూరం అవసరం. Okay. So template is also the same thing. Rather than curly braces, you will have something which is called as dollar here. Okay. So now the point is, whenever you want to do string interpolation, there are many ways, but what I would be using is, I would be using F strings because they are comfortable, convenient and clean. అవునా కదా? ఈ అన్నిట్లో ఏ చొక్కంగా ఇది లేదా? All you have to do is just add F in before quotes, and then it will try to do the job. If you are trying to do this, you need to understand what is percentage yes. If it is a number అవుతే percentage D వేయండి, date అవుతే అదే వేయండి, సావలేము అసలు దాంతో. Let us not worry about that. And the third one is little bit which has caused to us to give format strings or F strings. That was this function which is called as string dot format. And then finally we have templates. Template is also the same thing, sir. So nowadays you did not do this. ఇప్పుడు template అని ఒకటి క్రియేట్ చేసి దాంట్లో substitute అని రాసి, this you don't need it. Okay. So I would always encourage you to use F strings. So this is what I would recommend. Did you understood F strings? Yes. Okay. Right. So let us take a break for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will try to look into some additional methods of strings. That is how to do comparisons and how to do the other stuff. Okay. Right. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. We will try to look at simple methods of string. Okay, so I'm not getting into something which is complicated. So if you remember, I said that whenever it is any sequence, you have a function called as length, len, which can find out the length of tuples, length of arrays, right? The same function can be used over here. And then membership. Okay, and are you seeing these methods? Upper, lower. Okay, you do partition, replace, find, r strip. Okay, right. Let us try to play around with this. Okay, string methods. Let me try to write x is equals to, you can put single or double quotes, Python. Now if I try to write x dot, let me try to use print statements. Print of x dot upper, print of x dot lower. So whenever you print, it will try to do this. Okay. Now if I want to basically do x is equals to Python and y is equals to Python. Okay, and I want to do compare strings. Okay, so now if I try to write x double equals to y, I'll get false. Now I want to compare strings ignoring cases upper or lower. So try to convert both of them to one case, both of them to lower or both of them to upper. Anything is fine. Am I clear on this, sir? So whenever you want to compare strings by ignoring case, you can do this activity. And let us see what are the other methods which we have. So for example, there is something called as partition. So let me try to print x dot partition. Whenever you are calling anything, always x dot partition, and I need to partition with the help of separator. Okay, so దానికి x పెద్ద example, మంచి example కాదు. So let me try to take welcome colon Python, and then let me try to do x dot partition of colon. Sorry, saying this is broken into three different values. So where you get a tuple which contains what is before semicolon, what is after semicolon, what is that. Okay, generally we use this for this part. Okay, so why, or let me try to do it. So Python comma, okay, 45, and let me try to separate this. Okay, so here you are basically getting the same stuff. Now what I can do is x is equals to same thing, Python comma 45, x dot split of, now here that semicolon will be removed, and then you will be getting all of that values as a list. Split ki partition ki teda telchinda. Okay, so when I partition, I'll be getting this stuff also. But if I use split, whatever character which I have used for splitting will be removed, and it will be giving all the other items as a list. Anything in square brackets is a list, right? Anything in parentheses is a tuple. Whenever we see anything in curly braces, it can be a set or a dictionary. So if it has only single values, it is a set. If it has a key value pairs, it is a dictionary, right? So now what are the other methods which we have? Okay, right, replace, simple. So for example, x is equals to Python, okay, and then x dot replace, I want to replace capital P with small p. You can replace words also completely, okay. Now let me try to print the result of it, okay. So the capital P is replaced with small small p, okay. ఇంకేమున్నాయి, split, strip గురించి మాట్లాడతాను. So is numeric is whatever value which you have passed in a string, whether it is numeric or not. Index is, since it is a sequence, when you pass an item, it will tell what is it starting with. But the strip is an interesting function. So for example, I have written x, and then I have given some spaces, and then Python. So if I try to do x dot, okay, let me try to run this. Let me try to write x dot r strip. So it will try to remove all the spaces after Python on the right hand side. If I try to do x dot l strip, so it will try to print all, it will try to remove all the unnecessary characters before. So if I try to do x dot strip, it will try to remove on both sides. Okay. So generally, a few days ago, I don't remember who has asked this question, but someone has asked me this question saying that we have done this. Okay. Uh, result is equals to int of input of enter the number. Okay. Now let me try to run this stuff. Now let us assume that here I give 10, and after that by mistake I've given couple of spaces, and I enter. Okay. And then print of result. So let me try to give 10, and after that few spaces. Okay. But the better and a cleaner way is, since input is a string, I am trying to use dot strip, remove all the unnecessary characters. Now if I try to run this, okay, 10, you give any number of spaces, but the value that is passed is, it will be removed. That is what the strip function does. And now not only that, I can try to write x is equals to okay. Now x dot strip. So, and in the strip I'll try to pass x. Now it will try to remove all the x's. By default it will remove spaces, but if you want to remove any character, just pass it. Okay, right. Yeah, this is interesting. So what I want to print is, okay, I want to print, okay, something like ఇది print చేయాలి నేను, isn't it? So what is that I want to print? Isn't it? So let me try to write print of isn't it, and then let me try to run it. Python కి అర్థం అవట్లేదు ఏంటో. Okay, so one way of solving that problem is, so use double quotes. Okay, when you want to print single quotes, use double quotes. Now it will try to print. Okay, right. Now let us assume that let me go over here, and I want to print C users and del. Okay, or I want to print C colon temp. ఇది నేను ప్రింట్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నా. So what is it I want to print? C colon temp. Okay, good. Now path, okay, or temp underscore path in my system is C drive colon temp. Now let me try to print off temp underscore path. T ఏమైంది? Okay, right. So escape sequence Python. సో ఇక్కడ వీడి మరి ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇచ్చాడో ఇవ్వలేదు నాకు తెలియదు. పైథన్ escape sequences. Yeah. Sorry, seeing this, sir. This table is what I'm referring to. So backslash T means horizontal tab. That means it generates 4 spaces. It generates 4 spaces. So now, but how will I print C colon temp? What Python tries to tell is whenever you are whenever you have having backslash T అన్నదానికి Python లో special meaning ఉంది. Backslash T has a special meaning. These all characters have special meaning. So whenever you want to print backslash T, okay, that is C colon temp. Python will understand it as what? Tab. So ideally what you should be doing is, you should be doing this. Temp path is equals to, okay. One thing which you can do is you can try to write something called as R. Okay. R means raw string. R means what? Raw string. Right. Or the other thing which you can do is you can try to tell that ఈ రా స్ట్రింగ్ లో ఇవన్నీ నేను యాడ్ లేను అనుకుంటే C drive colon, since backslash T has special meaning, just add one more backslash before it. Backslash temp and print of temp underscore. Are you getting C colon temp? Yes. So whenever you try to write backslash T, backslash V, backslash R, backslash N, backslash F, they have some special meanings. When you have these special meanings, what you should be doing is you should be adding one more backslash before it. One more backslash before it. Sorry, saying if you want to print single quotes, what it is trying to tell us, isn't it right? So I can print also by trying to tell that. So single quotes button kavalante. So, but hyphen has a special meaning. So just put one backslash and hyphen before it. Yeah. So because why? Hyphen means enclosing quotes. So for example, if you want to print double quotes inside double quotes, just put one backslash in front of it. These are something which we call as escape sequences. And they exist in every language because there are some symbols which have special meaning. Okay. Backslash n ante new line n. So backslash n in generally basically means new line. So for example, if your path had C colon nemp అని ఉందనుకోండి, suppose. Now if I try to print that, it will go to the next line. C colon backslash n means new line. So it has gone to the next line and it has printed EMP after that. But if you want to avoid that, what is it you need to do? Just add one more backslash in front. Are we clear on this, sir? Yes. So yeah. Right, or basically use something called as R. Naka any voddu anukunte raw strings. Raw strings is whatever you have entered, it will be printed. Yeah. Right. Tempe vadadam lendi generally. Fine. So are we clear on this, sir? Yes. So rest of the things are fine, sir. Okay. Good. There are some other things also which we need to do. So for example, there is something called as is your string alpha numeric or not. But I don't want you to remember these methods like this. Once we understand the concept of class, then we will go to the API documentation and look at all the string methods, and then we can use anything. Okay. For now, these are the basic methods. In, not in. Whenever you are using strings, you have to ensure that you are not passing quotes. And one more thing which I want to basically speak about is something called as keywords. What are they, sir? Keywords. Okay. Python keywords. Okay, it's a repotland. Keywords are the words which have special meanings. Okay, so you cannot use them as variable names, class names, or whatever it is. Okay, so for example, keywords are words with special meanings in Python. Okay, so you cannot create any names with the keywords. So for keywords list, try to look into it. I can never create a variable in Python. So for example, I have written x is equals to 10, it will allow. But if I try to write if is equals to 10, it will not allow. Because if has a special purpose in Python. And whenever you try to do this, it will be regarded as a syntax mistake. Okay. So what are the words which have special meanings? This is the whole list. Don't even try to remember them, but this is what we'll be using to represent something in Python. I'm quite sure we have used false, we have used none, right? So true and or ఈ పేర్లతో అసలు మీరు ఏ వేరియబుల్ క్రియేట్ చేయలేరు. Okay, variables, class names, anything, because they have special meanings. Okay, so avoid keywords for naming variables. Let me try to remove this. So I'm saying if equal to 10, you cannot create any variable with if, while, count, right? Whatever functions, or for example, I cannot use length because length stands for something else. If you try to remember, if there are certain things which are not really, will not stop your execution, but that blue line will still give you yellow lines, trying to tell that don't use max, don't use min, because they have other meanings. Okay, so we need to basically follow all of that. Okay, sir. So are we clear on this? Okay, so now let me try to commit this notebook. cd dot slash notebooks na oh modules inkoka dot slash notebooks git status. Oh, we have too many. Git add added okay. So from here you will not be able to make out anything. So let me give the low. So Python August 24 notebooks and functions. Okay. So refer here for some functions, text and keywords examples. We have also tried escape sequences. Okay, right. Irrespective of any word, can we use yeah. So generally, whenever you're using Windows paths, you have to use the double slashes, backslashes all the time. Okay. So Python class Linux paths will not make any difference because they are for forward slashes. Backward slashes have special meanings. Yes. Okay. Right. So let me go to hacker rank. Let us try to solve a couple of hacker rank problems because I want you to do that. Okay. So continue with Google. ఇది చేశాంగా ఎన్నిసార్లు చేస్తాం ఇది okay he wants me to print hello world so just try to write hello world and then curly braces sorry exclamation run code oh వాడికి ఏం కావాలి? హలో కామా వరల్డ్ కావాలంట. ఓకే ఫైన్. నా ఓకే, అసలు ఇది తప్పయ్యే అవకాశమే లేదు నాలంటోటి చేస్తే తప్ప. రైట్ సార్. సో వేర్ ఇస్ ద నెక్స్ట్ ఛాలెంజ్? Let us go to the next challenge. I am not even considering this as a challenge. Okay, this is interesting. Let us try to look into the task which they have set. Are you able to read it? Yes. Okay. So ఆల్రెడీ 15 మంది లాగౌట్ అయిపోయారు. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ నుండి రికార్డింగ్ ఆపేద్దామా? రైట్, ఫైన్ సార్. సో ఇఫ్ యూ ట్రై టు లుక్ ఇన్ టు ఇట్, హీస్ ట్రైంగ్ టు టేక్ ఇన్పుట్స్. ఓకే, so when he is taking the inputs, he is trying to tell that he gets A and B. He has already written the code for it. So he takes one input, and then let us assume that he gives 3 and 5. Now what he is asking us is, first line should print sum of two numbers, second line should contain difference of two numbers, and third line should contain, so ఇది పెద్ద పనే. So print of A plus B, and then print of A minus B, and print of A into B. ఓకే, నో అంతేనా? ఇంకేమైనా ఉన్నాయా కండిషన్లు? ఈ కన్స్ట్రైన్ వాళ్ళు చెప్తారులేండి. ఫైన్, రన్ కోడ్. ఓకే, so it is trying to tell, okay, it is looking fine, but running code is not enough. He will test the code with many conditions. Let me tell, I want to submit the code. Yeah, so he has tested the code with different values, and then it is working fine. This is a hidden test case. Again, as I said, if you want to unlock, you need 5 hackers, but as you solve the problems, you will be getting more hackers. Okay, fine. Idi kuda right, fine. Then what is it? Okay, now what is that? What does he wants? He gives A and B, and what he wants is A integer division, and the other one is normal division. So ఇది పెద్ద పనే. Print A by B. First ఏంటి? A by B అనా? No, first is integer division, and the second one is normal division. Okay, right. Did he give any constraints? No. This program will fail in one case, when he passes B as 0, because divided by 0 is a serious error. Your programs cannot calculate that. Okay, but fine. Okay, now he's trying to tell that, okay, this is working fine, and let me try to click on submit code. Right, so ఇవన్నీ యా ఒక స్టార్ వచ్చిందండి నాకు. ఫైన్ సార్. Now what is he trying to tell us? The provided code should read an integer n from standard input. So this n has standard input. For all non-negative numbers I less than or equals to n, then print what you call I square. So for example, he is giving n is equal to 3. Okay, he starts from 0, 1 and 2. So what you should be printing is 0, 1 and 2. So we need to basically, if we have given 3, we need to iterate 3 times starting from 0. Okay, if he gives 4, we should iterate 4 times. How should I do that? For index in range of 0 comma n. Okay, so now what is it I need to do? Print index star index and index star star 2 and okay, because we are calculating squares. Okay, now here what is the condition? N should be in the values of 1 to 20. Right, okay, 5 ఇచ్చాడు, పని చేసింది. Let me try to submit code. So it has worked. So are they difficult, sir? Okay, so I want you to solve these challenges. Initial gani easy untai. This is something which I was waiting for. Yeah, right, sir. Now here, if you try to see, there is a leap year calculation. So what is a leap year, sir? When we will get leap years? Every 4 years. Okay, but that is where we are wrong. Let us try to find out what is a leap year. So what it tries to tell us, it is a leap year when it is divided by 4. Fine. but there are some conditions. Okay, the year when it is divided by 100 is not a leap year until unless it is divided by 400 also. What is trying to tell us? So 1800, 1900, 2100, they are not leap years because they are not divisible by. This is a math. మనకి ఏంటంటే 4 ఏళ్ళకి ఒకసారి వస్తుంది అనుకుంటున్నాము. But if a year has divided by 100, if it is divisible by 100, then it should also be divisible by 400. That means that 100th year was not a leap year, 200 was not a leap year, 300 was not a leap year, 400 was. Again, 500 not a leap year, 600 not a leap year, 700 not a leap year, 800. But 104 is a leap year, 108 is a leap year because it is divisible by 4 and they don't have any problem. They are not divisible by 100. Are we clear on this, sir? So I want you to solve this. Did you understand the condition? Okay. So if I give 2000, is it a leap year? Yes, it is a leap year because it is divisible by 100. It should be divisible by 4. 2000 is divisible by 4. Good. Now we need to check if it is divisible by 100. Yes, 2000 is divisible by 100. It is also divisible by 400. So it is a leap year. 1900, it is divisible by 4, but it is also divisible by 100, but it is not divisible by 400. So 1900 is not a leap year. So that is what he's asking us to write, and he's asking us to write our logic over here inside this function. So what is it I need to do? He has started with by writing something as leap is equals to false. The first thing which I need to do is, if year percentage 4 is equals to 0, right? But I cannot try to tell that it is leap because I need to do one more condition. Okay, if year percentage 100 is equals to 0, okay, and year, okay, if the year is divisible by 100, it doesn't stop over there. Year percentage 400 is equals to 0, then leap is equals to true. Else, if it is not divisible by 100 but it is divisible by 4, then we don't have any problem. So then leap is equals to true. Yeah, నాకు ఇవి మీరు చేయడం కావాలి. Okay, let me try to submit the code whether it works or not. Yes, so I want you to try this. This is about building conditions. It's not about finding leap years. Okay, leap year తెలుసుకొని మనం ఏం చేస్తాం, జాతకాలు చెప్తామా? Right, it's not about that. It's basically about basically trying to do this. Now next challenge ఏది, వీడే ఆపేయమంటున్నాడా? సబ్మిట్ చేయలేదా? చేశానండి. ఇంక చాలే వాళ్ళకి అంటున్నారేమో. లేదులేండి, ఫైన్. So now what is it trying to tell? The included code stub will read an integer without using any string methods. Try to print the string 1 2 3 4 5. So what does he wants? If he tries to without using any string methods, okay, output kuda integer kavali vidiki. So when he gives 5, what does he want? 1 2 3 4 5, and he's asking us not to use string method. String method ante evandu plus and rahette ayipindi. So if I want to do this in string, it is very straightforward. Okay, fine. Now if he gives n is equals to 5, so I'll try to tell result is equals to empty string. Okay, for index in range of 1 to n plus 1, because I need to also print 5 also, right? Then I'll try to tell that result plus, because you know plus is concatenation, is equals to index. Okay, so if you want to convert this into a string, just convert into str. యా int of అంటే ఇంటిజర్ కన్వర్ట్ అయినప్పుడు str of అంటే స్ట్రింగ్ లో కన్వర్ట్ అవుద్ది కదా. యా రైట్ నా ఓ ఎంత ఫంక్షన్ లో రాయాల్సిందేమో మనం. సత్తం ఏంటి మళ్ళీ రాద్దాం ఆగండి. ఓకే నౌ ఐ థింక్ లెట్ మీ ట్రై టు ప్రింట్ రిజల్ట్. ఐ గెట్ 1 2 3 4 5. ఆడు ఇది వాడద్దు అంటున్నాడు. ఈస్ ట్రైన్ టు దట్ డోంట్ యూజ్ దిస్ string method and then find it out. What do you think I should do? String method వాడితే easy. All I have to do is add this, but he has clearly said that don't use any string method. So how should I do it? How should I do it? This has nothing to do with programming. This is basically logic. One ఇచ్చి 5 ఇస్తే -1 చేసుకుంటూ వస్తాం కానీ ఏం ప్రింట్ చేస్తాం. -1 ఒక విధంగా కరెక్టే. For loop fine sir, you have to write a loop. Tell me logic. Don't think in terms of programming here. So if I give 5, what is the output which I should get? 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so if I give 4 as an input, I should get 1 2 3 4. If I give 3 as an input, I should get. Okay, now is there any way we can do this? We have kind of solved this problem already. Factorial నంబర్ అసలు ఏం వాడకూడదు, నంబర్లే వాడాలి ఇందులో. Mahinder Reddy, you are almost right, but probably you have used the wrong operator. ఏం చేయాలంటారు? Percentage 10, how will it solve the problem, sir? We are not doing the reverse. If I give 5, I need to get 1 2 3 4 5, a number which is 12,345. That is what I should get. If I give 4, I should get 1234. Now you tell me how to do this. We can use range and append. What is append? Clearly I have written this code and said that you are not supposed to use it. Tell me integer mathematics. Is there any way to solve this? Let us try to look at opinions. Mahinder Reddy, thank you. You are the only person who is thinking little bit in that direction. Okay, right. Okay, sir. If I take 5, I am speaking about how many digit numbers, sir? 5 with any digit number latne? 5 digit. Okay. Each digit has how many places? 5 places, right? Okay. So can I do this? 5 into 10 to the power of 0 plus 4 into 10 to the power of 1, 3 into 10 to the power of 2 plus what is the other one? 2 into 10 to the power of 3 and 1 into 10 to the power of 5. Intena? So 5 plus 10 to the power of 0, what is it? It gives you 5. 4 into 10 to the power of 1, what it will give you? 40, right? 10 square, right? 10 cube, this is 2000, this is 10,000. అంతేనా? ఇది ఎలా రాయొచ్చు? దీని లూప్ లో రాయాలి మనం. This is exactly what you need to write in a loop. Okay, right. Can I write 5 into n minus 5. Okay, 10 to the power of 1 kada, n minus 4, n minus 3, here n minus 2, here n minus 1. Do you agree with me on this, sir? Yes. So let me quickly ఎక్కడ రాద్దాం, అక్కడ రాద్దాం ఎందుకులేండి, ఇక్కడే ఎక్కడ రాద్దాం. ఈ మెయిన్ డాట్ పీ వల్ల రాసేద్దామా? ఓకే, సో డిఫైన్ వాట్ ఇస్ దట్. ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ పేరు ఏంటి? దీనికి ఏమైనా పేరు లాంటిది ఉందా? ఓకే, రైట్, ఇట్స్ ఓకే. సో డిఫైన్ న్యూ అండర్ స్కోర్ మెయిన్ అన్నాం. ఇక్కడ మెయిన్ కాకుండా లెట్ us calculate న్యూ అండర్ స్కోర్ మెయిన్. సో ఫస్ట్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ వీడి దగ్గర నుండి ఇది మాత్రం సిగ్గు లేకుండా తీసుకుందాం. n is equals to input of. Now what is that I need to do? For, okay, or while, anything is fine. For index in range of 1 to n plus 1. Do you agree with me on this first? Yeah. Now let me try to calculate result. Initially in the result I'll have 0. So what is the formula which we have come over here? ఇక్కడ మనకు వచ్చింది ఏంటి? Number into 10 to the power of n minus the same number. Okay, so now result plus equals to, okay, index into 10 to the power of what? n minus 5 or n minus index. పనిచేద్దంటారు ఇదేమన్నా? సో ప్రింట్ రిజల్ట్. చూద్దాం, పని చేయబోతే సిగ్గే ఉంది. సో పైథాన్, come on, python main dot py. It is asking me for input. I gave 5 quotation in the program. Right, let us try to debug this. Okay, I have taken n and in the n I have given 5. Okay, right, now what is my index? 1. Okay, so for 1 what is that it should do? 1 is 1 into 10 to the power of 5 minus 1. అంతేనా? 5 minus 1 ఉండాలా? 1 అంటే 0 కావాలి కదా? ఓకే, ఈజ్ ఇట్ 10 to the power of 4? కాదు కదా? ఇండెక్స్ మైనస్ n కదా సార్. ఇండెక్స్ ఇస్ 1, n is 5. So 5 minus 1 will give me 4. But actually, yeah, 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 4 కదా. చూద్దాం, let us try to see. So right now, ఇక్కడ ఏంటి 9999 వచ్చింది? ఇండెక్స్ ఇస్ 1. ఓకే, ఆగండి సార్. This is operator precedence which has, okay, right. Now let me try to debug this program again. Right, n is equals to input and let me try to give 5. So first is 1. Yeah, so operator precedence ఉంది కదా. So star and minus, precedence has killed us. So it was giving 10 to the star power of n. So these two it was calculating and it was subtracting from minus. అందుకనే మనకు రాలా. Right, then right now I have 2 to the power of 1200, then 1300, then Vachinda? Yes. So earlier the program has failed. Why? Because I have written this. Intera? So star star and minus. What is the priority? Star star. So what it has done? 10 to the power of 5. First it has calculated that and minus index. So 10 to the power of 5 will give you 1 lakh. Minus 1 will give you 99,999. Okay. But what is that we wanted to calculate? We want to calculate this first. So that's the reason I put parentheses. That is classic case of mess with operator precedence. Okay. Now ఏ మాత్రం సిగ్గు లేకుండా దీన్ని తీసుకెళ్ళి ఇక్కడ పడేద్దాం. Okay, let us try to run code. ఎక్కడ ఏం మర్చిపోయాను? కర్లీ బ్రేస్ ఎక్స్ట్రా ఉందా? Okay. Right, I have given 3 and he got 123. Oh, submit I have to do. Submit code. Okay. చూసారా? ఇంక మన లెక్కలో బొక్కలు ఉన్నాయి. Right? So now if you want to figure out why this has gone wrong, what you can do is you can click on unlock. So if you try to look on unlock, what has happened? Our program has failed when 10 is given as a input. మన లాజిక్ 10 దగ్గర పని చేయట్లా. సో 10 ఇచ్చినప్పుడు ఏం రాయాలి? 1 2 3 right to the power of 10. అక్కడ మన ప్రోగ్రామ్ పని చేయట్లా. సో we need to relocate our logic once again. Yeah. So this is a clear cut of failure. Okay. మళ్ళీ ఇదేంటి? ఇది అంతకంటే పెద్ద ఇచ్చుంటాడు 133. Yeah. So our program works as long as the number is single digit. But if you try to see the constraints, you can give the value anywhere between 1 and this. So ఈ లాజిక్ పని చేయదు. దానికి ఇంకేం చేయాలి ఆలోచించండి. So now if I give something like 10, so what is that he is expecting? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and then ఇది కావాల్సింది. ఇక్కడ ఈ లెక్క సరిపోదు. Okay, if he gives 11 as an input, he wants this number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 and 11. If you try to see 10 11 12 13 are you seeing 133? If he gives, he is basically expecting all the numbers 132 133. So he wants those things. So now what do you think I should do? 9 digits వరకు బంగారంలో పనిచేసింది సార్. Okay, now what should I do? అదే మ్యాథ్ లో కొంచెం మార్చాలంతే. You probably need to think in terms of more stuff. Okay, so just let us try to look into it. When I give 9, how many digits I got? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. And then so when I give 10, we thought that in 10 in the case it will be 10 digit number, but actually what has happened? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and then 11. If you give 10 as the input, we are getting a 11 digit number. So after 9, you need to basically relook at it. This is also solve change. Okay, so try looking at that. We can basically print that. Recursion we can do that, sir, but what is that you will be doing? If it was string based stuff, it is very easy. All you have to do is append. But if you try to give 11, suddenly it becomes a 9 plus 4, that is 13 digit number. So this will not work out. This will not work out. Okay, so till 9 it works out, but after 10 this is fine. మళ్ళీ తర్వాత 1 ఇచ్చాడు అనుకోండి ఇన్పుట్ కింద 1 2 3 4 5 6, you have to write all the numbers in a sequence. So then what is it I should do? Okay, ఇలా ఏమైనా పని చేద్దాం చూద్దాం ఆగండి. అసలు ఇంత మనం అనవసరంగా ఎక్కువ ఆలోచించాము దీని గురించి. రైట్, సో ఫర్ ఇండెక్స్ ఇన్ రేంజ్ ఆఫ్, వర్షం పడుతుందా? 9 అయిపోయింది. రైట్, ఫైన్. నౌ result is equals to, okay, First, I'll try to write 1. Okay, initially I'll start with result 1, and then after 1, when I pass 2, it should become 12, right? So 3, 123. So just add the number of digits. So 123, 3 each and so initially it will have value 1. Okay, so then when you are basically going into iteration, 1 into 10 plus 2, so then it becomes 12. Then 12 into 10 plus 3, that becomes 123. That is fine. Ee logic 9 వరకు బానే పనిచేస్తుంది. So when we are going into 10, so depending on how many digits you have, you need to multiply with that number. So 9 లోపల అవుతాయి. For example, let us try to take this. Let us assume that right now I am here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. This is my result as of now. Okay, so what is that I'm trying to do? Result into 10. Result into 10 will become this, plus 10 add చేస్తే ఇది 100 అవుద్ది. Then that whole math will be miss. So when I am trying to add from 10, I need to add 10 to the power of 2, not 10. Okay, దీన్ని ఎలా రాయొచ్చో ఒకసారి ఆలోచించండి. That is probably the solution of it, depending on the number of digits in the number which you are trying to add. So if you are adding anywhere between 9, single digit, when you are adding somewhere between 10 to 99, multiply with 2-digit number, that is 10 square. If you are adding somewhere in between after 100, you should be adding 3 digits. Antena? So did you understood my point, sir? Okay, let me tell you. Initially we'll start with 1, sir. Result is 1. Okay, right. And then I'll try to tell that index is in the range of 2 to result. I'm starting from 2, right? So I'll try to tell that result is equals to, okay, first I need to multiply it with by 10. Okay, result is equals to result star 10 plus index. Then when I'm trying to pass 2, so what would happen? 1 into 10 plus 2, it becomes 12. When 3 comes into play, 1 2 into 10, that is 120 plus 3. So this works out wonderful till you are here. But now 10 comes. 10 is how many digit number? 2-digit number. But if you try to do multiply it with 10 and then add 10 to it, this will not work out. So here you should be multiplying this with 100. So when you multiply it with 100, what would happen? You will get 2 zeros, and then you will get 10. So this will become 1 2 9 10. Now let us assume that you have to add 11 to it. So what will you do? 11 is how many digit number, sir? 2-digit number. So since 11 is a 2-digit number, into 100 plus 11, so it will become 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 and 11. So almost 99 వరకు వచ్చామనుకుందాం. Let us assume that we have gone till 99. Now we have to add 100. 100 is how many digit number? 3-digit number. So don't multiply it with 100 anymore. Now you multiply it with, yes. So that is what you need to do. So for this you need to write a logic where you need to basically write some conditionals in here. If the index is between 1 to 2 to 9, multiply it with 10. If the index is between 11 to 99, multiply it with 100. If the index is anything greater than 100, multiply it with 1000. So if you try to do this, then you will get the solution of it. Okay, try it out. If it doesn't work out, we will try to solve this again. Can you chettene programming? Okay, and this has nothing to do with whether I'll in DevOps ఈ చేయమంటారా అని. ఈ చేయకపోతే అవి చేయలేము, because tomorrow you will get strange conditions. It is all about solving problems. Okay, initially we thought we have cracked it, but then we figured out that no, it was not expected. So the only way to solve this is by debugging and then trying to get through it. Are we clear on this, sir? Yes. Okay, string తో చేస్తాం ఇది అసలు easy. If you are doing with string, it is extremely easy because plus means concatenation over here. Yeah, right. Okay, try this. If you find it any difficult, I will try to solve this in the next session, but that is not going to help you anyway. But still, I have solved, I have given you the logic also. Okay, right. So ఇక్కడ ఆపుదాం, because tomorrow if you guys are not able to do it, I'll try to solve it. Okay, but here all you need to do is, in that loop you need to have three conditions. Multiply it with number of digits. Okay, so if you have one digit, multiply it with 10. If you have two digits, multiply it with 100. If you have three digits, multiply it with. So how to know number of digits? Just use a range, because the input will be only between 1 and 150. 1 and 150 లో మనకి మూడే కండిషన్లు. Do I need to multiply with 10, 100 or 1000? So over here probably you will be trying to write. Okay, నేను రాయనులేండి నాకు. So here probably you will be trying to write, is it between 1 to 9? Then you will be multiplying with one series. Is it between 10 to 99? Then you will be multiplying with one sequence. Is it between, is it greater than 100? Okay, right? So మీరు చేస్తారా చేయనా? చేస్తారా మీరు? Okay, fine. So don't try to take this, try to make it dynamic. Don't take 10, try to make it dynamic. That's it. Okay, fine sir. So I'll stop it at that, and I think I need to upload the notes, right? ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ గా ఉందా, కష్టంగా ఉందా? So did anyone attend fresher jobs, fresher interviews, written tests? Okay, ఇలాంటివే కదా అడుగుతుంది. Data structures, I said that I'm not worried about it, but if you have attended any interview, you will not go more than this in terms of logical. Okay, and ఈ లాజికల్ తెలివితేటలు ఒకేసారి రావు, ట్రై చేస్తేనే వస్తాయి. Yeah, fine. Unable to see classroom notes till date in sir, our classroom notes by default will be updated into this home page. Okay, so in this classroom notes over here, this is basically for convenience, but kindly use this, sir. Over here you will have all the classroom notes. పొద్దున్నే 2 సార్లు అప్లోడ్ చేశానా? Okay, am I clear on that, Siri? So try to use this home page and tomorrow get it done with Anji. Right, Siri, am I clear? Just go to the home page, you should be able to see all the notes over here. చాలా కష్టంగా ఉందంట. మీకు ఇంకా పెళ్ళైనట్లేదు, కష్టాలంటే ఏంటో తెలియదు అనుకుంటాను ఇంకా మీకు. ఆ కష్టాలతో పోల్చుకుంటే అసలు ఇవన్నీ ఏమీ కాదు. Right, sir. So I think you should be seeing the classroom notes. Today you should see 3 notes. I think we should avoid confusion, but that's okay. So this is what we have tried today. Okay, yeah, okay sir, thank you.